Hi everyone, this is National Master Coach Ba. Today I'm going to show you one of my best games against the computer. I played this game in 2005, so I was 17 years old. At that time, one of the most popular engines were Fritz, Shredder, and others. So I played against the Chess Tiger 14. So Chess Tiger 14, I think that was good enough for me to practice to play. That's why I decided to play him, and I played very often against this computer. So back to that time, the computers wasn't that strong and didn't have that variety of opening repertoire. So it was easier for me to prepare against those computers. So I played white. I played ED4, knight of 6, knight of 3, E6, C4, B6. So my opponent is playing here Nimzo Indian defense or Queen's Indian defense, or sometimes they call New Indian defense. So G3, bishop E6. So here black can actually play also bishop B7. So he played bishop a6, bishop b3. I need to defend the pawn on c4, check, bishop d2, bishop e7. So this is a very typical idea in this Nimzo Indian defense. First black does check, and then after he goes bishop back to e7 and trying to make this bishop back bad on d2. So bishop c3, c6, bishop g2, d5, knight d2. I need to protect on c4. Knight d7, castle, castle. So all of these moves are according to the book, according to the opening. So I played in this position queen c2. So here white can also play rook e1 with the same idea to play e4. Queen c2, rook c8. So queen c2 might be not good place here because of the rook c8 move, but it's still playable move. So e4, I played e4, trying to open up diagonals and files. So trying to get more open, clear position. So here my opponent played b5. b5 at that moment was okay move and one of the best idea for black after rook c8. It looks very logically. So black is trying to exchange pawns and open up for example, the c file where black rook is already ready, or to capture and create a pawn weaknesses on in the center for white. So looks very good. But right now, if you put this position on Stockfish doesn't like this move and offers instead c5, which is I think this is a better move right now. So black played b5, I played e5, knight went e8, and I played c5. So this move was a new idea for a computer because computer didn't expect white can just sacrifice exchanging this position. c5 move just close the position, makes all black pieces bad on e8, d7, e7. So all these pieces are cramped here. But this move leads to winning exchange for black, because now black will go b4, opening up the diagonal for the bishop to attack the rook and attacking the bishop at the same time. But I was ready for this move and I just captured the pawn on b4. So bishop takes, I capture his bishop, and here white has compensation. First of all, white has a pawn for exchange. Second, the black pieces right now is really cramped here, so they don't have actually any good moves. And also white has good play on the queen side. There's pawn c6 weakness, a7 is weakness. So rook b8. I think in this position it was actually better for black to play a5 to try to stop white's idea eventually to play a3, b4, and then a4 maybe, and b5. So a5 move actually is going to stop b4 move. So rook b8, bishop went back to c3. So defending bishop, f6. Here black decided to open up the position and try to activate the knight, bishop. So, but this move leads to some weaknesses on the king side and the pawn on e6. So I captured, bishop captured, and I played rook e1. So developing my rook, attacking on e6. Knight went to c7 to protect it. Bishop d3. So improving my pieces, developing, attacking on h7. Now, at this point, I decided just forget about the queen side for now and attack on the king side or the pawn on e6. Here's the one pawn weakness. So black played here g6. If black plays here h6, that actually will create light square weaknesses. A g6, h7 square weak. And I always can return to the queen side was b4, and go, for example, queen a4, attack the a7 and c6. So white has actually a very good position in the, over here. So after g6, this is very tempting to capture on g6 with bishop and then queen behind, but I think that's not good enough to win the game. Probably I will have some perpetual check idea, something like this, but I decided not to do it. So I played bishop a5 before taking on g6. It's better actually to play bishop a5 to tie the queen down with defense of the knight on c7 so that the queen can help these pieces to protect on the king side. And also my bishop on c3 was doing nothing, so I played bishop a5. Here black played queen c8. I think this is not the best move here. Black could play, for example, rook e8 and try to protect the pawn on e6, because I was pinning the knight and was trying to take the knight and win the pawn on e6. So rook e8 just simply protects it. But here white could, for example, continue with knight e5, developing my knight, and after taking, I take it with pawn. That blocks my rook from the pawn. Looks like not good idea for white, but that actually gives a very good square for knight on d4. For example, bishop goes here, and then knight goes to f3. So eventually, knight goes to d4, and that will attack both black pawns on e6 and c6. So here, computer played queen c8. I decided to sacrifice on g6. Captured, and in this position, before taking on g6, I captured on c7. So the reason why I didn't take it immediately, because after this, bishop goes here, and if I play now knight g5, sorry, not knight g5, if I capture on c7, black will just, instead of taking intermediate move, black plays intermediate move, rook f6. That defends the pawn on e6, attacks the queen. So defense also against knight g5, for example, because queen has to leave, and this position might be equal. So in this position, before taking on g6, I captured on c7, because now if queen takes, now I capture on g6 check. After this, so I can play knight g5. Now rook f6 doesn't work because I have check, king f8, and then I capture with knight on e6. Rook takes, and here I think this position is winning for white, because white has 4 pawns for a bishop, and plus the black king is really exposed. So in this position, after knight g5, the pawn on e6 is hanging, so he played knight f6. In this position, I was thinking a lot, so I wasn't sure about the knight f6 move, because I thought, okay, I'm going to take on e6, that's going to be fork, so that position is going to be good for me, and I didn't actually expect knight f6 move. But then I realized if I capture on e6, black will go queen f7, trying to trade off the pieces. Now, if I capture, for example, on f8, black will capture, and if I take, king just will capture. And I wasn't sure about this position. I knew this. I was thinking actually this position is good for white, because still I have 4 pawns versus bishop, but I wasn't sure that I can win this position. So, and then in this position, I was thinking about bringing the pawn h4. It's like h4, h5, h6 idea. It looks very strong, very good idea, because all pieces are tied down, pinned. So black doesn't have any good moves here. But then after h4, I didn't like queen d7 move. And if I play now h5, then black will go queen e8. That will that's offering me a queen trade. If I leave with my queen, then I'm going to lose my pawn on h5. So this is already good for black. So don't forget that white sacrificed, I sacrificed my, exchanged in my piece. Now I'm down a rook for 4 pawns, right? I mean, almost I have compensation, but after exchanging queens, I think black is just going to easily win the game. So now queen goes d7, and if I take this on e6, trying to stop the rook, queen from going to e8, queen can't move to f7, but then black has rook e8 move. So trying to exchange the rooks and queen e8. So that will force me to exchange the queens or just leave, then there's no attack, and I didn't like that position. And then in this position, I had a really nice idea. So I thought, okay, I'm going to first improve my pieces. H4, H5 I'll always have, and I'll always attack on E6. Then I thought, okay, I'm going to bring my knight on E5. That will be a really dominating position for white because everything will be tied down. None of the black's pieces can play. So knight F3, I think that's the brilliant move in this position. Like I'm down a piece, down a rook, right, for pawns, and I still can play that slowly. It looks slowly, but actually it's a very strong move. So knight is intending to go to e5, right, or I'm trying to take on e6, then knight e5. Now, if black plays in this position, let's say queen d7, trying to play queen e8, exchange queens, then I will take. Now, after rook goes to e8, I have knight to e5. So knight e5, very strong move, intermediate move that attacks the queen. I'm not taking the rook yet. I'm attacking queen. So also I'm attacking the queen. So queen needs to retreat somewhere on d8 or c8. If he goes to d8, then I can, for example, capture on c6. So that's one of the important pawns because after this, I already have passed pawn on c file, and still, yeah, this is a good position for white. If he goes to c8, then I can just capture, for example, on c6. Again, winning this pawn was attack, so white has good position. So here my opponent computer decided to play rook e8. Rook e8. So he's defending the pawn, trying to make space for the king to run in case I played knight e5. So the idea of this move is to create an idea to do rook left, rook e3, then rook f3, and then rook takes f6. Since the black rook left, now this idea is possible. So that's the besides of playing h4, h5, h6 idea. Queen e7, knight takes e6. So in this position, black didn't have any good moves. So he just tired of waiting what white is going to do. He didn't want to wait because I was threatening rook e3, rook f3, and takes on f6, or h4, h5, h6 idea also good enough. So in order to attack the king or win material. So that's why black decided, okay, now it's time to give the material back and try to simplify the situation. So knight, queen went to e7. I can still try to play h4, h5, h6, but I decided just to win some material, and I capture on c6. That's fork attacking queen and the rook. Queen went to f8. Okay, he brought the queen to the defensive position. I captured, and captured with knight. So now I decide, okay, now if it's possible, if he offers me queen trade, then I will do it because I have enough material to win. So queen f7, I captured, and rook e7 check. So I'm going to win another pawn. When you went here, king went here, and I captured. And here at this moment, I have 6 extra pawn versus knight, and so I won this game without any difficulties, even though I had less time. So I converted my advantage. I won this game. So, okay, thank you for watching this game.